We're now going to cover the application of a coloured or a glitter tip with the quick dip system, and also if you don't have the coloured or glitter tips, we're going to use some glitter powder as well. So you've got the option of both. Again, the first thing we will do is make sure everybody has washed their hands, and we need to spray the area with some antibacterial spray. Next, we're just going to do a little bit of work on the cuticle, getting it pushed back and ready for the artificial coating. I'm just going to apply a little bit of cuticle remover conditioner and just gently push that cuticle back, making sure that there's no pterygium on the nail. Down into the side nail grooves, and you can just tidy up underneath the nail a little bit as well. So now we've got a nice clean surface to be applying the artificial nail to. And just before I apply anything else, I'm just going to now wipe over the nail with a little bit of nail polish remover, just to make sure that it's clear of any cream or oil, and it's nicely dehydrated, ready for the tip. So now before we apply the tip, I'm just going to straighten the nail up a little bit and just very, very gently etch the top of the nail, making sure I go right in around the cuticle and right down the nail sides, down into the nail groove where the lifting is most likely to occur. Now that's all you need to do, just so that it's nice and chalky white. Then before we apply the tip, we're just going to take a brush or a lint-free wipe and remove any excess dust from the nail. Now with the coloured or glitter tips, they have a very small well in them, exactly the same as the French tips do. So you've got a certain amount of play with them as to where you place them on the nails. With a nail like this where we've got quite a bit of free edge, you can place the whole well of the nail onto the natural nail, and you're still going to have a nice long nail body. If we were placing this onto a shorter nail, we could actually bring it up a little bit. As long as you've got at least half of that well area onto the natural nail, it will be quite secure. So we just need to fill that well up with nail glue. Slide the tip onto the nail and then lay it flat until it bonds. Now you can see there's a little bit of glue spilling out of the top, which is fine. That means I've got plenty of glue and I'm not going to have any air bubbles underneath the tip. Just wipe off any excess glue, and that one's now ready to clip and put the coating on. We're now going to take our tip cutters and cut the length. And there's very little now to do on this. With the glitter tips, you can't rough up the top because you'll take all the glitter off. So all we're going to do with this is just shape it a little bit. Make sure the sides are nice and flat and in line with the nail, which they are. And because this is a rough surface already, any artificial coating is going to stick to it quite well. With the coloured tips, you will need to just take your block buffer and run over the top of them, but the glitter doesn't need to have anything done to the top of it. Now that we've got the tip on, we're just going to fill this area of the nail body in with some blush powder. So just taking our resin and just coating everywhere but the tip. Doing our dip into the blush powder. So that's now built that whole level up to the same level as the tip. So all we need to do now is put a nice coat of clear over the top. Don't worry about the glitter going dull at this point. Once we finish the nail, the glitter will shine through as it was in the start. So now we're just going to cover the whole nail, and you can see that the glitter is starting to show through. At this point you've just got to be really careful that you don't get any glitter onto your brush and get it into the body of the nail. So we're now going to take the clear powder and do our dip. Shake off any excess. And you can see that that's all starting to soak into the resin nicely. And now all we need to do is one more coat of resin over the whole nail, being very careful not to touch the cuticle or the sides, and a light spray with activator. So now we just have to wait for that to dry and then we can finish it off, and you can see that there's going to be very little filing to do on that. Once our coating's nice and dry, all we need to do is tidy up around the cuticle, make sure the shape is how we want it, and just get that nice curve on the top and make sure there's no lumps and bumps in the product. So starting from wherever you like, I always start from the sides, just make sure they're nice and flat. Take my file around the cuticle, make sure that's nice and flat, and then I'm just going to run it over the whole surface of the nail just to make sure it's nice and smooth. Exactly the same as we've done with the natural and the French look nails. So checking the nail against your file to make sure that it's nice and thin at the cuticle, nice and thin at the tip, but nice and strong over that stress area. Once we've got the shape as we want it, run over with your block buffer to take all of these scratch marks out from the heavy file. Make sure it's nice and smooth. Now at this point, don't worry about the dullness of the nail. That's only because we've roughed up the surface. We're going to bring that glitter tip right back through in a moment. Running over it with your chamois buffer. And we're now going to put some oil on. Massage into the cuticles. Now you can see that that's brought the glitter right back, and it's nice and shiny again. Now you've now got the option with this of leaving it as it is. You can put a nice clear top coat over it that will bring it up a little bit more, or you can put a clear gel coating on top of it as well.